Okay, today I'm doing a review on a series by Stacia Kane, and it's called the Megan Chase series. And I recently read it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, it's a trilogy, so it's 3 books, and I was really sad when these 3 books ended because I really wanted there to be more. And the author said, I mean, she'll never say never to writing more of the Megan Chase series. So, I mean, hopefully someday she will continue their story. Because I was really sad when it ended and I wanted to read more about them. But, so it's 3 books anyway. And, sorry, Barack Obama is on TV. He's in Ireland at the moment. I have it on mute. Anyway. Okay, so Megan Chase, she is, she has a PhD in psychological counselling, and she has her kind of radio talk show where once a week she kind of counsels callers calling to the radio show, and the line is that she'll slay their demons. So some demons interpret this literally and think she's like a demon slayer. So she gets kind of pulled into this demon world because all these demons are after her. And then she also finds out that every single person has their own personal demon on their shoulder, and she has none, which makes her quite rare, and this also kind of makes her a target. And this guy comes into her life, and he tries to protect her for his own reasons, or just to be good. We're not really sure. And she gets these 3 kind of demon bodyguards, and they're quite funny. And this witch comes into it as well, who kind of becomes her friend. And so Megan Chase, she's kind of brought into this world, and each book is exciting and really enjoyable to read. Like, not once did I feel like, oh, I want this chapter to hurry on, or I skip a few lines. Not once did I feel like that, and like a lot of books I do kind of do that, but no, I was enjoying each chapter of these books. Megan, the main protagonist, as I said, she's a PhD in psychological counselling, so I expected her to be a bit more, I don't know, like I didn't feel that from her. I suppose the author really isn't a psychological counsellor, so she doesn't know what type of thought process this person goes through. But yeah, I didn't really get that much of a professionalism for her, because sometimes she's kind of like a mess in these situations. There's a good couple in this series that I really enjoyed reading about, and their progression throughout the books. And I love the 3rd one the most. It's just full of drama and angst, and I loved all that. And it was really exciting to read. So, I mean, overall, it's really good. Okay, the negative I have with this series is the author's storytelling ability. I feel like the author, this was like her first book she wrote, the first one, and she wasn't really 100% she wasn't 100% successful at writing the story. Like, she's a good plot and premise and characters and everything, but it's just telling her story. Like, there was a lot of plot holes, and like, she'd mention one item and I'd be like, when did that happen? And like, transitions from scenes were quite blurry. Like, I felt like I was missing something. Like, I literally thought there was parts missing from my book. And that was quite irritating at the beginning, but it was really weird. Like, it was like the author got more confident with each book she wrote, so her confidence level increased, and by the 3rd book there was no problems whatsoever with the storytelling. It was perfect. I mean, don't let that put you off. The story itself is good, and the writing is good. Like, there's good humour and personality in the writing, and this author actually, she described this as her light-hearted series, and I was like, light-hearted? I can imagine her other series which she describes as dark and gritty. Like, I wouldn't call it light-hearted. I mean, it has a bit of humour in it, and I suppose the main character isn't as damaged as the one in her other series. But it can get pretty dark too, like with the demons. Another thing is that the demon terminology was quite confusing at times, because I felt like a lot of the terms were like used interchangeably, and like, I'm still not 100% sure what each kind of a term meant in relation to all the demons. You don't really have to know. When it's in italics, it's reference to some sort of demon. So yeah, I really recommend these books. I was pleasantly surprised and I really liked them. Okay, so now I want to kind of talk more details and spoilers about the book. So if you don't want to know any details, please switch off now. Okay, so as I said, I really liked the couple in the story. Grayson, at the beginning I wasn't really sure about his character. Like, as I said, the kind of, I think it was just the author's way in her first book. Like, he was quite, like, at one minute when he first came into it, he was quite nice, and we thought, oh, he's a nice guy. And then he was quite rude and kind of insulting all of a sudden to Megan. And then, like, towards the end, he was quite protective and nice again to her. So, like, I wasn't sure what way he was meant to go. But I loved him by the second and third book, and I thought he was great. I thought, as I said, the angst of the third book. And for a change, actually, you get to see a gradual progression of a relationship in this series. Because I don't know if you realise, when you read series, it's usually characters are in love from, like, the first few chapters, and that's it. They keep going that way. Or else characters kind of bicker and they're not together for ages, and then a few books later they get together and they're immediately in love. With this, they were kind of just kind of like having fun at the beginning, like nothing too serious, and then bam, by the third book we realise that they are really kind of crazy and in love with each other. And they were really sweet and endearing, I thought, Megan and Grayson. As I said, I loved the drama of the third book. It was great watching the normally cool and suave Grayson get completely wrecked and devastated and getting drunk because of his breakup with Megan, and it was fascinating to read. And then the whole kiss with Nick kind of elevated the drama further, and I was really glad anyway they got together in the end. And I would have loved it if we got to read about them getting married or read about them having a baby. I actually thought Megan was going to be pregnant already in the third book, so she was kind of like partheming, and she was kind of nauseous throughout it and tired and emotional. Anyway, she wasn't. But yeah, so I really liked them together. I read a comment about someone was complaining that someone was complaining about Megan's lack of bravery and strength in the second book. And even though I agreed with that a little bit, I have to say it's kind of understandable as well, because, I mean, Megan had to deal with even more of this demon crap in her life, and her connection with her demons was all wonky. So I kind of gave her a bit of leeway with that. Yeah, so as I said, I'm really sad there's no more in this series, because I feel like it could have gone on longer. And hopefully, someday Stacia Kane, someday soon, will write another book, because it would be brilliant to read about these characters, maybe like a few months or years later. Okay, so that's my review, and if you have any opinions, let me know, and if you have any recommendations, please let me know. And thanks for watching, and tune in to my next review.